Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Shelley Speaks Truth right here on 2rawfortv.tv. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Now, as some of you may know, what we do around here is we do stream from a few other platforms, which is usually Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and X at times, I believe. But that is not for the entirety of the show. If you would like to see the entire show, you will have to come over to 2rawfortv.tv to see the entire show. And that is the number 2 raw, the number 4 tv.tv. Again, that is the number 2 raw, the number 4 tv.tv. And that is where you will see the entire show. So, man, there is so much to discuss tonight because unless you have been living under a rock, you can see that the United States of America has been in disarray for the past week since the shooting and killing of, I really don't know how to categorize him because he was not a politician. He was I know he had a podcast and he was tied in with some big think tank, Turning Points USA. Charlie Kirk, for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about. He was shot and killed at one of his college tours that he does where he goes around and he debates talking points with college students. And it's been a lot of chaos in the country for this past week since his death, because Charlie Kirk was a very controversial figure. And not to be mean or anything like that, but I did state on this show that I was very indifferent to his death. And that is because a lot of Charlie Kirk's talking points and commentary, and even on the tours that he was taking, he would spend a lot of his time, if we're going to be truthful, he would spend a lot of his time denigrating Black society. And for that reason, a lot of Black people right now, they're either, there's some people who are actually celebrating his death. Some people are like, this is, an unfortunate thing that has happened. But, he was kind of putting a target on himself with the things that he was saying. And you have another group of people who are the people like me, who is extremely indifferent to this situation. If I'm going to be completely honest, I don't care. I said that when it happened. And like I said, I'm not saying that to be mean, but that's my true feelings. I'm very indifferent to this situation. It doesn't make a lot of difference to me in my life. And, a lot of that does have to do with the fact that he did spend a lot of his time pushing racist propaganda against the Black community. So I can't sit here in good faith and say that I feel any way about it. All right, it looks like we have a call already. Show just started. Caller, you're live. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
We're here live.
Okay, this me, Joshua Story from Facebook. Now, Charlie, it's like when anybody talks shit, you used to consequences behind your words. So, you commit, like, people miss me with all this, he's not racist, and he just speaking from a place, but if we was to say that about the white community and say all of what they was doing, we'd be demonized for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that because I'm the type of person.
So the things that he's saying, like prime example. So throw you off of a tall building in Gaza. Then he said, well, ha 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 ha, there's no more tall buildings. Referencing the bombings that, all these families, these people are being displaced. So it's like, how do you find it in your heart to be thankful or say, oh, and be empathetic when this same motherfucker that told you empathy was not real? So is empathy real or empathy is not real? This is the words coming out this man now.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I wholeheartedly agree.
Then they try to tell us how to feel, and then I feel like the whole way this shit is going is bullshit. 2 black men were just hung in Mississippi. They don't have the media coverage. Trump is not speaking out for them. Then you come back, and then you turn around, and then you see all of the stuff that's happening to black students. A kid was arrested at TSU for mocking the death of Charlie Kirk. Do they arrest these young black boys in the inner city for mocking King Von or mocking people that die? That's the new thing the youngsters doing. All right, we smoking on this pack. Nobody's doing that. But for Charlie Kirk, who the fuck was this dude, Charlie Kirk? And me personally, I'm well spoken on this. I didn't, I don't like rage things. So, people like Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, I stay far away from.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of a sudden, you telling me that some white boy that I ain't even know about existed to 2 days ago. That's what made me dig into him. I didn't go get off and say, oh, it's a troll. No, I say, let me see what the fuck he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about MLK was a bad person. He said that George Floyd was a scumbag, and this is after his death. So how the fuck am I supposed to respect somebody that died that said George Floyd is a scumbag? If the brother got high, he did what he did, okay. That's I'm a black man in the black community. Getting high is an issue in our community. A lot of people get fucking high. That doesn't mean that person's a bad person. I know crackheads that help people out, that will really stop what they doing. Your car done broke down in the middle of the street. Get your shit back on the road and don't even know you from a can of paint. This man smoke rocks. How am I supposed to determine a substance that you're doing makes you a bad person?
Right.
Right.
Well,
100%. Where are you calling from? Where you say?
From Chicago.
Chicago. You join us from Facebook, Instagram?
I joined from Facebook. Me and Shelley good friends on Facebook.
Oh, that's what's up. Really appreciate that. Can you do me a favor? We're not gonna be on Facebook Live for the whole show. So can you either, if you are an iPhone user, please download the Too Raw for TV app. Otherwise, join us for the rest of the show on toorawfortv.tv. Because we have a lot to talk about.
Okay, I'm about to chime right back in on the line. I'm going to download the app right now.
All right, thanks for calling, Josh.
All right, appreciate you.
All right, so we coming in hot. You see, a lot of people got a lot to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I agree with a lot of what Josh said. I agree with everything that Josh said, because like he said, he didn't know who Charlie Kirk was until 2 days ago. And he went and looked them up. And yes, Charlie Kirk did say a lot of vile things about a lot of people.
Here was my thing. My thing about him, right, is, and even when the incident happened, he would, regardless of what the question was, he would redirect it back to gang violence, code word for us.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's my biggest thing about him, right? And people like that are very dangerous because they use truth. They speak a lot of truth, right? So within that, you can't discredit the truth. Truth is truth, right?
He told a lot of, he like you said, not to cut you off, but that is a very dangerous person, because he told a lot of lies too, and he would sprinkle some truth in there, because those statistics and stuff that he would use to try to denigrate the black community and make it look like we're an L on society and everything that's wrong with society is because of black people and fatherless homes, and those are outdated talking points that have been debunked so many times. The statistics that he would bring up were skewed because they didn't give you the full picture. So when you have somebody with a platform as large as his spewing stuff like that, it is very dangerous.
Very,
It's extremely dangerous
very.
because I was watching my brother Black Alpha's show the other day, and he said something that was very, very true. What? No, was it Black? No, it wasn't Black Alpha actually. It was Afro Elite, who I was watching, and he said that what made Charlie Kirk and people like him so dangerous is that although us in the black community knows he's talking nonsense, and we're like, what? We're used to this. We're used to being demonized in the media and everywhere. So for us, it's kind of like this is just another talking head sent here to denigrate black society, and we're like, whatever. But the people that listen to him and follow him, they're feeding into what this man is saying about us. And like Black Afro Elite was saying, these are your police officers. These are your teachers. These are the people that you have to interact with in society. So when they see a Charlie Kirk type saying these things about you, they're feeding into it. He's making it look like what he's saying is accurate and 100% true. When something bad happens to a black person or somebody does something to attack us, then it's viewed like, well, these people aren't good people anyway, so
Right.
why should we care?
Very dangerous.
So his narratives were extremely dangerous, and that's why a lot of people, they're celebrating right now. Now, should you be celebrating somebody's death? No, you probably shouldn't be doing that, but I
I got
am
some
not
things to say
going
about
to.
that as well, though.
I'm not going to tell anybody that they shouldn't do it. If they want to do it, they can, because he celebrated many people's death. He denigrated George Floyd many times. He said horrible things about Martin Luther King. He said horrible things about black people in general. So the reason why you see a lot of black people speaking out now, not just people celebrating and laughing or whatever, that's whatever. But people are like, no, we're not going to let his legacy be that he was some type of freedom fighter championing truth, when this man used to tell a lot of lies and he made a career out of denigrating black people. And I can understand why people are saying, no, we're going to poke holes in his legacy, and rightfully so. So again, like I said, I'm not celebrating his death because I'm very impartial to it. Like it doesn't make a whole lot of difference in my life. I didn't appreciate the things that he said about my community. I think it was lies and propaganda. Like I said, he would sprinkle some truths in there because we do have issues in the black community, but we don't have any more issues than any other community. So it's like when you put our issues under a microscope for the world to see, of course it's going to look like we're just these horrible people who can't get it together. But if we start pointing out all the issues in your community, then people will see that y'all got a far more problems in your community than we have in ours, if we're just going to be true about it. But we do have a lot that we need to cover. Again, thank you to the caller for sharing his thoughts. But I want to talk about this for a minute, because there's a lot of people who have spoken out against Charlie Kirk of all backgrounds, because like I said, he made a lot of enemies.
Real quick. We are streaming, like you said earlier. We are streaming on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I believe Twitter as well, right? And you can't see the whole show on none of these platforms, right? You're gonna have to come over to 2rawfortv.tv. Great news for Apple users. Download the app, 2Raw for TV app, on your iPhone, on your iPad. We really need the support right now. We're trying to get to the first 1,000 downloads. We literally just got approved. We still have a lot of work to do, but this is fantastic, right? We are able to bring you a message that can't be sent on these other platforms, right? And it's a black-owned platform, right? We own the platform, right? I am the CEO of the company. Please download our app. Check us out on the web to rawtv.tv. Google Play Store, coming at you soon.
All right, Androids, we're up next. We're up next, Androids. Don't worry. And again, that is the number 2, Raw, the number 4, TV.tv. And like you said, Apple, you can download the app now. And don't worry, Android, we're coming up. We're coming up. Okay, so I want to get into this video of Charlie Kirk because I was listening to one of Tariq's podcasts, and I don't know if you guys listen to his podcast, but that is one of the funniest podcasts I have ever heard. Okay, these people call into that podcast so irate, and you had some folks calling in, some Charlie Kirk